Hello everyone and welcome to this section dedicated to business plan. As you know, the business plan is a very important document. Our aim here is to update your information about this and highlight all the points you need to emphasize with the migrant entrepreneur. Business plan is constructed and written by the tutor, namely a person responsible in the microcredit area. This tutor will be allocated to the applicant after his or her request of a loan to a lending institution. The tutor will be a fundamental figure in the acquisition of the loan. He or she will be in charge of verifying the feasibility of the business idea through an interview with the aspiring entrepreneur, during which he or she will collect information for the redaction of the business plan. This business plan document will be composed of 1. A part illustrating the strengths and weaknesses of the business idea proposed by the applicant. 2. A plan of investments and expected gains. And 3. A revenue account of the balance sheet based on the calculation of the financial cash flow. I want to stress again the importance of the business plan. As we will see, this document will be decisive in the granting or denial of the loan. Now, let us move to the practical side of this subject. Before starting to elaborate a business plan, it might be necessary for the applicant to work on a business model canvas. That is a very famous entrepreneurial template composed of 9 different sections. This tool will be useful for visualizing, designing, and crafting all major aspects of your new business. Through the business canvas, the entrepreneur will have to identify the business customer segments, the relative value proposition, and the channels to make it accessible. Moreover, the entrepreneur will have to choose the type of relationship to establish with the clients. The canvas will also include the revenue streams, the key resources, and key activities to create value and to highlight potential key partnerships. Based on those pieces of information, the entrepreneur will be able to finalize the canvas by making the cost structure of the business explicit. At this point, it is now possible to define the business plan. The aspiring entrepreneur and the tutor will know each other and will plan a meeting structured as an interview. This moment will be a fundamental moment for the drafting of the business plan. The tutor indeed will build on the information acquired during the meeting to fill out the document. The two figures are also expected to build a continuous and collaborative working relationship based on mutual trust. In this scenario, it will be possible to promote the strengths of the business and, if necessary, to intervene in order to fix the weaknesses which could possibly damage the safety of the forthcoming enterprise. But how is a business plan actually structured? Let's find out together. A business plan is composed of 2 parts, a quantitative part and a qualitative part. The so-called quantitative part represents the first section. It is dedicated to the projection of a 2-year financial and economic program aimed at verifying the effective financial sustainability of the business idea. How is it done? The collection of the quantitative is a 5-section module in which the tutor will use a calculations tool specifically realized by the ENM, the Italian Public Institution for Microcredit. The first section regards the revenue perspectives and is where the tutor will insert the kind of goods, products, or services that the entrepreneur wants to sell, together with the relative price, taxes, and the annual quantity of sale. The second section regards the investment plan, a scheme reporting how the applicant intends to invest the amount of the microcredit loan. This section will be divided in 2. The first part will be dedicated to the material and non-material assets that the applicant expects to buy, whereas the second will regard the management fees. The tutor will fill up this section based on the amount that the applicant expects to finance based on the collected quotations. In this case, the system elaborates automatically the amount of the financial requirements needed to realize the business idea. This amount can, of course, be lower or equal to the maximum payable microcredit loan, which in Italy amounts to 40,000 euros, but can also be higher. In this case, the tutor will have to insert under the item shareholder financing the differential amount not covered by the loan. In the quantitative section of the business plan, we will also find a part dedicated to the economic count, where we will have the information regarding gains and costs, and another part for the calculation of taxes. Then, the two last sections will be dedicated to the balance sheets and the projection of the cash flow, both automatically generated by the calculation system based on the data previously gathered. It is the responsibility of the tutor to ensure the financial sustainability of the project. Indeed, clients applying for microcredit have two types of services guaranteed. The first one is support for the definition of the business strategy, and the second one is support for the identification and diagnosis of any issue that could potentially compromise or threaten the financial project. There are also 4 complementary services that the client can ask for, like, for example, legal or administrative consultation. Now that we have seen how the first block of the business plan is composed, we can move on. As I already mentioned, next to the quantitative part of the business plan is a qualitative one. This section details what the company's activity will be. And for that purpose, the tutor will also collect, during the meeting, qualitative data relative to the credit applicant like personal information, training, work experience, financial conditions, etc. The tutor will have to elaborate a summary of the meeting, describing how the interview happened and was the business idea received. In this part, a special focus will be dedicated to the entrepreneur and his or her competencies, motivation, as well as on the technical details of the idea. In this final step of the meeting, it will be also reported a market analysis carried out by the tutor, followed by a summary of the business idea. Such summary will include a positive or negative evaluation of the proposal, emphasizing the strengths and weaknesses of the business. The tutor will also provide a general professional consideration of the economic and human aspects of the plan and of the entrepreneur himself. The business plan will then conclude with information regarding the destination of the loan, and if evaluated positively by the tutor, it will be sent to the credit institution, which will deliberate on the approval or denial of the loan. This video is almost over. Thank you for your attention. But before I let you explore the complementary material of this module, I would like to highlight once again that microcredit is a tool with a huge impact on people's lives as well as on society. One way to access is through a great and sustainable business plan. Have a good time.